Today we're going to talk all about feelings. Now I think this video is really important because yes, parenting can be magical and the most amazing and rewarding job in the world, but I don't think parents talk openly and honestly enough about maybe some of those feelings that lead us to doubt ourselves and our ability to become the best parent we can be. Now we need to get comfortable with vocalizing our feelings and also normalizing that it's okay to feel these 5 feelings I'm going to talk about today. We need to accept that becoming a parent is probably one of the most emotional experiences in the world, and certainly along our parenting journey we're going to have ups and we're going to have downs, we're going to have highs and lows, and we're going to feel all the feels. So I want to dive into 5 feelings that it's okay to feel as parents. So the first feeling I want to talk about, and that's the feeling of loneliness. Now we could feel lonely for a whole host of reasons. We could maybe feel a loss of identity, maybe we have a limited or non-existent social life, maybe we're neglecting our own needs and putting our child first in every single thing we do, and maybe this can be escalated when during the evenings we're scrolling through social media and seeing all of our friends and family sharing those magical moments with their little ones, and we're maybe feeling that we're the only one who's experiencing this loneliness. Maybe we feel we're failing our child, but rest assured you are not the only one. Now I'm just going to bring up a study that was done by the Family and Childcare Trust organisation, and they found that over half of parents with children under 5, and actually it was 56%, felt lonely. 21% felt a lack of companionship, 23% felt isolated from others, and actually 76% felt left out at least some of the time. I think it's important that if we're feeling lonely and if we're going through these emotions at the moment, we appreciate, number one, that we're not the only one. We're not the only one feeling lonely. Yes, you may be scrolling through social media and seeing everyone sharing their wonderful family moments, but rest assured you aren't the only one, and it is normal to feel this way. So if you are feeling this way at the moment, there are certainly healthy habits that we can cultivate to move away from this feeling of loneliness. Now, number one, it sounds obvious, and that's communicating with your partner, talking to them openly and honestly, and trying to create habits that work for you both. Number two, and that's talking to friends and family and just vocalizing how you're feeling. Don't feel embarrassed, don't feel self-conscious. You'll be probably quite surprised that literally everyone you talk to have experienced the feeling of loneliness at one point or another along their parenting journey. And of course we can look at social media for local baby and toddler groups to meet parents in a similar situation with children the same age, or of course you can join global communities on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and just chat day to day with parents that are experiencing the same things you are going through the same journey you are, and just connect and meet people and vocalize how you're feeling. So number two, and this is a really important one and something we probably experience daily in some capacity, and that's the feeling of guilt. So you could be at work and feel guilty that you're not with your child. You could be with your child and feel guilty that you're not fully committed to work. As parents, we're pulled in so many directions, it's hard to give everything 100% of our attention. We're trying to be the best parent, the best employee, the best colleague, the best partner, husband, wife. It's really difficult, and along your parenting journey, each of these things I've mentioned are going to have to get more focused than the other. But regardless of what has your focus in that given moment, you're likely to feel guilty for not giving focus to one of the other areas. But if we just focus on parenting for a moment, it's likely that you're going to feel guilty when you're spending time with your child. Maybe you don't have the motivation that you feel they deserve. Maybe you lean on the TV a little too much one day because you just need that break, that 10 minutes just to get that headspace to maybe make a cup of tea, have a drink, go to the toilet, and your child is relentlessly demanding your attention. It can be tough, and as parents it's really important to give ourselves that space to allow these feelings, to appreciate that we aren't going to be 100% motivated to be doing arts and crafts all the time with our child, and just to cut ourselves some slack, because above all we are only human. So number three, and that's the feeling of being confused. So maybe you've got a newborn, a baby, or a toddler. Maybe you're trying to rock your baby off to sleep and they just won't drift off to sleep. Maybe you're responding to their crying and absolutely nothing will work. Or maybe you're trying to respond to their meltdown or tantrum and you just can't bring them back to that level of calm. Nothing you try is working, and you just end up taking a moment, taking a step back and thinking, And this is absolutely normal because we're learning just as our child is learning. And a lot of the time we won't have the answers. And above all, when you're left worried or lost or confused, just appreciate all your child needs is you and your presence. You might not have the answer for them in that moment, but the fact that you're there, the fact that you're present is enough. And rest assured, everyone at one point or another, probably daily, feels confused as a parent. So number 4, and that's the feeling of being overwhelmed. Now, I don't doubt that at one point or another you've assumed that every other parent has got this parenting gig locked down. It feels like they're winning at life, they're sharing their magical photo book moments on Instagram and Facebook with their 3 kids, and you're at home struggling to get your 1 child off to sleep. How on earth do they do it with 3? But just appreciate that every parent is learning as they go, and every parent has been where you are in that tough moment. Maybe you're struggling with a meltdown or a tantrum, or struggling to get your child off to sleep. Everyone has been there, and as your child grows from a newborn to a baby to a toddler, you'll become overwhelmed by different things. Of course, the baby phase is tough because you're transitioning from your old life to new, and you're trying to meet the needs of this new baby that needs you for absolutely everything. As they grow into a toddler, they're starting to assert their independence and push their boundaries. They've got their own opinion and personality, and they're answering you back and making their own decisions, and this can all be overwhelming as well. So just appreciate that every parent feels overwhelmed at one point or another, and we need to give our space to feel that feeling. So number 5, and that's the feeling of being selfish when you prioritize yourself. You know, as a parent, self-care is so important, and for some reason we associate it with being selfish. But if we're not taking care of ourselves, if we're not prioritizing our own mental and physical health at times, then it impacts our relationships. It impacts our relationship with our partner and our child because we're low on patience, we maybe got low motivation, we're snappy, we're reactive, and there is no right or wrong. You know, I know parents with 3 children that rarely prioritize themselves and seemingly don't need to. They haven't ever spent a night away from any of their 3 kids, but I know other parents with 1 child that spent a night away from their little one at 6 months old and really need that time to recharge and reconnect with themselves and their partner to be the best parent they can be for their child. So it's important that we normalise that self-care is important, not only for us but for our child too, because by prioritising ourselves and taking care of our own mental health and our own physical health, it has a positive impact on our child and those relationships around us. And that's it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It's so important we normalise feeling these feelings. You know, as parents we need to feel all the feels and appreciate it's okay to do so. So if you enjoyed this video, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll be back next week with another parenting video.